Great,
great. What have been the cause of most misunderstanding? What causes division sometimes in a small group or a large group?
Well, I think sometimes what happens is the division sometimes caused by people not realizing that they have more in common than they have differences. So when you believe that you have more in common with somebody, you're more likely to open up and have a better conversation and listen. So, so essentially when you meet a group or an individual or anybody else, you first find what's in common, right? We all have things in common. And sometimes even enjoying the differences that people have. When I met people from different parts of the country in the military, you go down south, you're introduced to grits. If you're from the north, you've maybe never had that, so you give it a try, you try it, and people just enjoy when you're trying something from where they're from, right, from their area. And that can open up conversation and can open up that dialogue and better understanding. Because if you go into it and just everything somebody may tell you, introduce to you, say, oh, I don't like that, or I don't want to, you kind of shut down. Well, you shut down the conversation. Now the divisions increase versus what do we have in common, right? Yeah. Do you love your family? Yeah. Do you love your kids? Sure, I love my kids. You love dogs or cats or whatever it might be. You find that common ground and then you continue to move forward. And these days I feel that that the focus with the media and other folks is that all they want to talk about are the differences, but not what keeps us together, not what we have in common. Like what we're doing right now with the project in the town of Babylon with quality of life issues. I don't care if you're a Democrat, conservative, Republican, liberal, or what. You want to feel safe in your home. You don't want your car broken into.
Correct.
You don't want drugs on your street. You don't want shootings. Nobody wants that. I don't care where you fall into. Nobody wants that. So those are the commonalities. So the focus is what keeps us together is that feeling that, hey, I pay my taxes. I want my kids to go to a good school, to be taught well, safety, making sure that my property values increases. I've invested so much. These are some things we all have in common. I don't care what part of the aisle you're from or your thoughts. You want those things.
Yeah, one of the things that caught my attention to you is that I visited, a few years ago. I was in the town of Babylon. I met you.
Yes.
We spoke a little bit about your service, and also you mentioned something about you guys working together with Republicans and Democrats. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I don't know what your ideology is, whether you are Democrats or Republican. All I know is that you're a veteran, but I like what you say, that you guys all work together, and it's a different things from what we see on TV. Yes. And that's why I felt that I needed to have you on for Veterans for Unity, because you probably bring a different perspective, that you work together with both sides, and that's the way it should be. And they should work harder. The leadership, I think the political parties should work harder when they're on camera to show unity instead of division. Yes. But they do the opposite.
Yes, yeah, and I think, and it's out there, the points or the times where there's unity in doing things, but sometimes the media and some people, they don't want to hear that, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it almost like what sells best? Division. Instead of focusing on, again, what did we do together? What did we accomplish together?
What do you think we could do as veterans? Do you feel that this is important to have veterans speak up and show their feelings, no matter where they stand? Because I'm not here to show, people that know me know that I probably fall more to one side than the other. But my idea is to respect everyone. I don't want freedom of speech to be crushed for the left or the right, because I know we need balance. We need to respect each other.
Yeah, and that's a good point, and it's important that that veterans do speak. They provide their perspective as people who have served. Our men and women have served our country, and bring together their perspectives as to They've worked with, like I did, people from all over the country. They've worked with people around the world. They bring that perspective, and they should speak out no matter what it is, so that way, that communication can help bring people together and understanding more of who they are, why they have these thoughts, because their experience with one thing might be different than my experiences as well, right? It's not all going to be the same. So, but that communication is important, and you're only going to get that if they speak out, and then we talk and have those discussions.
So I wanted to ask you, I feel that it's just as important to speak up, for veterans to speak up, and for everybody to speak up and share their own opinion. But it's also important that we not only speak up, but also be willing to respect different opinion. And I feel that that's what's causing division sometimes. How do you feel about that?
We have to take that moment to listen to others and not shout them down, because I think too many times people, if somebody has a difference of opinion, the way it's been recently is that you just shout them down, and that's not productive. We have to go back to a time where we just listened, even if we disagreed, and then sometimes learn, and sometimes you can be able to adopt people's ideas, because you realize, wait, you know what? I don't agree with everything that person said, but maybe I agree with 20%, 25%. Going back to making sure that we're listening to people, not shouting them down, and maybe adopting some of the ideas, we can come to an understanding. And then, and it relates to what I said earlier, when people talk about what they have in common, whether it's a like for certain foods, or I like dogs, or have children, or whatever it might be. When you make each other human, you're also going to respect their ideas, or at least listen, and that's important. When people feel listened, then they're more apt to get along. And we used to see that in Congress years ago, right? They would disagree and go have lunch and dinner and have a drink together, a cigar together, whatever it might be, and they had differences.
Correct. You know what? One of the things that motivated me to start Vets for Unity is that before I used to think, oh, that's just the media. People are not getting so divided. The American people are smart. But then I had a few conversations I ran into. I'm only going to tell you one that really concerned me. It's someone that I know. And this person, someone that I care for, someone that I respect a lot. And she mentioned some things about not worrying too much about facts. She came out straight up. It was more about feelings. And when we put feelings over truth, over facts, we're gonna run into problem. And that actually concerned me, that somebody who is educated, somebody who went to college, is thinking that way, to disregard facts. That shocked me. And that say, no, we need to speak up. I think every American, especially veterans, I think veterans were willing to put their life in the line to defend the freedom that this country represents. So I think now, if we are veterans, our duties to America does not end when we retire or when we left the military. I think we can still contribute. What do you feel about that?
Absolutely. I know when we retired from the Army, we there's a motto, soldiers for life, right? You're always that, because everything that was put in you, you learn is what's best for our country. So, and that's important. And sometimes it is sad to hear that, like you said, there's educated people or people that you thought understood certain things would say that facts don't matter. In order to make good decisions for our country, facts do matter, and also together with what we spoke about earlier, which is understanding people and not shouting people down and listening. It all plays a role, because if you're not going to listen to facts and somebody makes up stories about a certain group or certain people, then no different from when the media for a while was portraying soldiers and Marines and other service members that have PTSD as they're all the same,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I mean, that's dangerous. That's not factual. But